the physiological sigh. This one is super exciting. So this one has got to come with a little bit of science that I'm going to tell you that will hopefully help you appreciate it even more. It is something you've been doing, and in fact, every 5 minutes under good normal circumstances, we do a physiological sigh without even knowing it. What that is a two-phase breath in. We take a breath into the belly, we take a breath into the chest, and then we either do an internal, just kind of nice, soft release, or we may even do an audible sigh. Our body does that because it knows it can reset tension in the nervous system by doing that. Now, make no bones about it, that big breath in that we naturally do every 5 minutes is a hyperventilation breath. In other words, it's not a breath that's good for our chemistry, but it is good for our neurological system. And naturally, we do one and we get on with breathing. Now, the risk in me telling you this story is if you're like most people, you're thinking, okay, if 1 is great, well, 10 must be 10 times greater. And the fact is, it's not. And so the real ninja level of this practice is to do 1 to get the most out of it, and then to move into a second phase, which we're going to talk about. I'm kind of lumping 2 things in together, but they pair beautifully because they're opposites. And that is to then let the physiological sigh walk you into subtle breathing, which is what your body actually wants to do, which is actually what most of us should be doing during the day. If you've been around me at all, you know what I'm probably going to say next, and that is there is good science to show that most of us are breathing way more than we need. By the end of the day, we have moved almost twice as much air as what we metabolically needed that day. And that comes at a cost to us. And so most of us are well trained to step into more subtle breathing. But for me to tell you to breathe less, to breathe slower, to breathe less volume, I know is not very helpful. So there are tricks we can do to walk ourselves into this better breathing. So before I get into that, let's do the physiological sigh because it just feels good. So let's take together a breath into the belly, a breath into the chest, and then slow that exhale. It's all in and out through the nose. Good. Let me give you one more pro tip. If you slow the first part of the exhale especially, it's going to feel more comfortable. You're going to feel like you've got a little more longevity in slowing the exhale. And I am convinced we get better access to the vagus nerve. So let's try it again. Even though I said to just do 1, for the sake of practice, we'll do a few here. So breath into the belly. Breath into the chest. You're opening up those alveoli that tend to go closed when we don't need them. And now slow the first part of the exhale. And just enjoy that nice, long, luxurious breath out. And then let that walk you right into subtle breathing. So the crown of your head continues to lift skyward. Your pelvis, your ischial tuberosities continue to extend into the earth, all of that without effort. And now you can just allow your breathing to be subtle, soft, allowing it to be that way. You're not forcing a small breath. You're not forcing a slower breath. You're just letting it do what your body actually wants to do once your mind stops racing. All right, let's do that one more time. Breath into the belly, breath into the chest. Slow the first part of the exhale and just enjoy that ride down. Keeping nice posture, effortlessly, no tension in the body, letting the tension go. And then just step into a couple minutes of subtle, easy breathing. So that can be a very powerful 2-minute practice. It's only 2 minutes. All right, it takes you a few seconds to do the big breath in, maybe 20 seconds to do the breath out, and then take the rest of the time where you're just breathing in this subtle way. Most of the time we do that breath, like I said, every 5 minutes, and then we just get on with our big breathing again. We get on with our day. If we were to take just a little bit of extra time at the end of that, we would get even more out of it. Thanks for practicing with me.